friends, my name is Claire. Today we are talking about the 5th episode of Love on the Spectrum US, so please stick around. Hi friends, my name is Claire and this is my channel, Woodshed Theory. Here, I make content about what it is like to live as an adult on the autism spectrum and whatever else feels good to me. So if that sounds good to you, or if you're feeling particularly gracious today, and I hope that you are, please go ahead and click the subscribe button, ring the bell. I almost forgot to mention that I put out videos 3 times a week. Click the like, we're so close to 2,000, yay! Friends, we are fast approaching the end of my Love on the Spectrum US series. Here I am telling you all about episode 5, and I'll just go through each participant like I've been doing, and hopefully you enjoy it. We start back at episode 5, meeting up with Steven and his date Candida. They are just kind of continuing their date. It does seem a little awkward. I thought that this was really funny, so I was watching it with the subtitles because it helps me process. And Steven makes the joke, and then in the subtitles it says Candy chuckles. And I thought that that was really funny because she made it clear that she doesn't like being called Candy. So I thought that was throwing a little bit of shade on her because she wasn't laughing at his jokes very quickly. So I thought that was pretty funny. So good shade, whoever wrote the subtitles. I thought that was funny. We do interview Candida. She says that she isn't instantly attracted to Steven, but that's not the most important thing to her, and that could have developed over time. But for me, it just doesn't seem like she is very interested in Steven from the get-go, so whatever, Candy, I guess. Whew, I'm so mean. But really, you know, Candida, I'm sure you'll have a nice life, and not everyone's for everyone, so that's fine. Next time we see Steven, he's telling us that he has a lot of love to give to someone. He goes back out and has coffee with his friend Stan again, and they talk about the date with Candida. I really appreciate Steve's friendship with Stan. It seems like they are good for each other as friends. They really uplift each other and make each other feel good, and I just am grateful that Steven has a friend like Stan. Later in the episode, we see Steven back on the dating site with his assistant after not finding a match in Candida. It does seem like he finds a match that he likes and wants to go on a date with, so I'm excited to see where that goes. Next, we see Kaylin again, and she is finally going on a date with Peter. Yay! They do ask Kaylin what the hardest part of dating is for her, and she's talking about awkward silences and what to say and how to dress and what to look like. She basically, in my mind, just describes what it means to mask and autistic masking and how you have to do that on dates. So I thought that that was very insightful, and I appreciated that she went into that. So before she goes on the date with Peter, she gets ready with her friends. They're Googling second date topics because she's worried she won't have anything to talk about. The other thing that she does is she checks the menu with her friend before she goes out on the date because she has issues with dyslexia and finds it easier to look at the menu before she goes on the date and make a decision that way. This is also something I know that's really common for ASD people to do. It can be overwhelming to look at a menu when you get to a new place that you haven't been before. I can only imagine that would be made more difficult if you were dyslexic and struggled to read the menu or maybe needed more time. So I definitely related to that because I too usually look at the menu before I go somewhere, or I order the same exact thing every time, and that really helps. Then we skip forward to the date. Kaylin is wearing such a cute outfit. Kaylin, where do you shop? Because every single one of your outfits is cute. Just wanted to mention. The date seems to go pretty well. It seems to be awkward, but most dates like that are, so it seems to be awkward but good. They talk about their dating experience. Kaylin talks about a bad experience she had dating someone who was blind, that he decided that she was too disabled for him even though he was blind. So it was a kind of a bad yet interesting experience for her. Sorry you've been having these bad experiences dating Kaylin. I really feel for you there. The topic eventually rolls around to Kaylin's autism and her experience with that. She talks about her special interests growing up as a child, how they were different than other people's, and how she was interested in birds and that she knew all different kinds of birds and their flight patterns, etc., which I thought was super interesting. At the end of the date, they go for a walk and they talk more about their interests. I thought that Peter was great. We loved Peter. He wanted to go out on a date with her again. He thought that she was super sweet. He gets her number. They hug. He talks about how he likes her. She likes him. So I was excited to see where things were going with them, because it seemed like the first date went well, or the first real date, past speed dating, went well, and they enjoyed each other's company. So I am hoping for good things for them in the future. He seems like an upstanding guy. Next person we check in with is James. He is on his second date with Emma, and he is about to meet up with her at the Ren Fair, which is pretty exciting. He tells her that she looks beautiful. She does. She's in this beautiful pink dress with a flower crown. She looks awesome. I noticed that one of the first things that he talks to her about is that he's worried about his hair. And I can tell the reason that he's worried about this is because his mom says that the gel back hair doesn't look good. And he's worried about that comment that his mom made. Emma puts him at ease and says, it's nice, and as long as you like it, then you should wear it that way. So I liked that about Emma. As far as the date went, they seem to have a really good time. It's evidenced that they're both Star Wars fans, which, you know, I'm into Star Wars too, so that's cool. They play a few of the games there together and they cheer each other on. James seems like he's having a great time. Emma's having fun as well. They watched the jousting together, which was pretty intense. I've never seen that in real life, so I can only imagine how intense it is. Yeah, they seem to have fun. They do a little bit of chatting in between the jousting and the games and everything. They seem like they're having a good time. Doesn't seem like they ever get really deep into anything as far as like topics of conversation. They're more just hanging out and enjoying each other's company. At the end of everything, James asks Emma out again to maybe go to a Halloween party in October. And she says she'd want to go, but just as friends. And I kind of felt bad for James in this moment because it seemed like he didn't know what to do. He thought that it was going well, and she was having a good time as well, but she just decided that she wasn't interested in James romantically. And I'm glad that she was at least honest with him in the moment. But it seemed like at that point, James didn't know how to say goodbye to the date because she had kind of cut him off romantically. So she gives him a hug goodbye and they part ways, and he's kind of left just kind of standing there. So I did feel bad for James in that moment. When you're on the spectrum, it is hard to know what to do in lots of social situations, especially in dating. And I don't know that I would have known what to do if somebody was like, yeah, just as friends though. We could just be friends. And then what do you do after that? What if you hadn't planned for that interaction? So yeah, I'm glad that they had a good time and that they're at least making a friend connection. I hope that, you know, she does go to this Halloween party with him, and, you know, I hope that he recovers from this okay and he keeps trying to find a girlfriend, because that seems to be what he wants. The next person we catch up with is Danny, and I was interested to see what would happen with Danny after the Solomon saga. So it's interesting to me that we see her again and she is about to go on some speed dating. and meet a bunch of new people. She's working with her family on writing down some questions that she can ask this person. And I thought that this was interesting because it's very common for autistic people to have a script ready, especially for situations where you might be nervous and you don't know what to say. So I thought it was interesting that she had her whole script ready. I don't know how that translates to speed dating. Not sure how long you get to talk to somebody. Is it just like a minute? It can't be just a minute, right? So do you get to talk for 10 minutes or is it all different? I'm not sure, but I thought it was good that she had her questions ready. She goes on these speed dates and she looks beautiful as usual. Danny, you're always so well dressed. The speed dating seems to go well. She has a few speed dates with, first with an aerospace engineer, then with this guy named Mark. I did notice that because she had the questions ready, they seemed to be a bit out of context. She immediately asks, have you ever heard of autism? But she doesn't give the context of why she's asking the question. It kind of fumbles into that in the conversations. So I understand why she's asking the question, but maybe the people that she was meeting with might be taken a bit aback because it's coming out of nowhere. We kind of leave it at that after 2 of the speed dates. It seems like she likes the people that she met with, an aerospace engineer and a guy named Mark, who she thinks is dressed like the Black Panther, which is similar to Marvel, which is similar to animation, and that's something that she likes to talk about. So interested to see where the next dates go for Danny. The final person we catch up with in this episode is Subodh. He starts off with talking about how his dream is going on a world tour honeymoon. I hope he gets to do that one day. That's really sweet. So at this point, they show him checking in with his dating coach, Jennifer, who we've met before, about how the date went. His sister is also on the call. I thought that Jennifer was very helpful. He thinks that the date went very well and he was really happy with how it went. His sister did have some concerns. She thinks that he has some room to grow with dating. Number 1, he should be pulling out the girl's chair. I didn't feel like it was that organic last time, so I wasn't bothered that he didn't pull out her chair, but I know that they had practiced that. His sister felt like he could also grow in the conversation area as far as not wanting to talk about TV shows because he didn't know anything about it, and how could he do better there. I thought that Jen gave great advice again, and talked about why you'd want to ask questions about something even if you didn't have anything to talk about. And Subodh really picked up on that and said, oh yeah, I can just listen. So ask questions to her about TV shows and then just listen. And I thought that that was a great idea and he picked up on that really well from Jen. They also practiced complimenting Rachel and what that might look like, talking to her about how she looks and if she has a nice smile, complimenting about her interests or things that she said. So I thought that that was very helpful. Then we get to see Rachel and Subodh go out on their second date together, which I thought was very cute and very successful. He does everything that his family and Jen has coached him to do. So I think it seemed very much like he was checking off the list in his mind like a good autistic person does. So I was very impressed. He pulls out her chair, he compliments her, and then asks her about TV, all in the span of 5 minutes. So I thought that he did a great job. He felt like, okay, these are the things I need to do to have a successful date. And he did all of those things right up front. So I know that sometimes it's hard to remember to do all of those things, especially when you're being filmed and out on another date with a girl you haven't really dated before. So I thought he did a great job. He goes and gets her drink order and goes and gets a drink for her. They have a great conversation about things that they both like to do. They talk about their love for blackjack. They talk about their jobs. And then they go and have a walk on the pier. So I thought that that part of the date was super successful. During their walk on the pier, they kind of already start talking about going on their honeymoon to Hawaii, which I thought was sweet. And then after that, they go and fly a kite together. They go buy a kite and then they go fly a kite. They have a great time doing this. Rachel is all giggles. She's having a wonderful time. She's never flown a kite before. They start singing Mary Poppins, Let's Go Fly a Kite. It's a really heartwarming, endearing part of the episode and part of their date. I was super impressed with them. You can tell that Sabot isn't always comfortable with physical contact, but when Rachel invites him to help her fly a kite, he does that with her for just a few minutes, and it's very sweet, and she is really enjoying the date, and so is he. So I really appreciated this date that they had together. At the end, they sit and talk, and he invites her on a third date. They give each other a side hug, and at the end, Rachel is just so excited because she really is having a nice time with him, and they seem to enjoy each other's company. So I was really pleased with how their date went. That was everything that happened in the 6th episode. I can't believe I filmed it so quickly, and now I'll be able to cut it down to my shortest episode ever. So that's exciting. Nothing happened in this episode that was a super bother to me. It just was some updates about how dates went, and we went on a few more dates. I thought that everyone did a great job on their date, even if it was a little bit awkward. These participants haven't had a ton of dating experience, and you know, this is all new to them. So I think they're doing a great job on their dates. I can't wait to see where it goes for them. How did you feel that things went? Are you happy to see that Danny went back out to do some speed dating? Do you think that things are going well for Sabot and Rachel? How do you think Steve did on his date? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and I will see you next time. Bye!